Welcome back to all our attendees. We are with our next speaker, Mr. Hassan Abdul Ali, GM Service Delivery and PMO at the Oman Data Park, speaking on today's topic, Cloud HPC and AI Modeling for Academics. Over to you, Mr. Hassan.
Thank you, Wilman. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to share with you Oman Data Park Cloud Services and HPC and modeling of AI towards academic 2021. In 15 minutes, I would like to take you on a journey to show you the initial introduction. What is an AI? What are the tools of AI? How academic can benefit from the AI? And ODP, which is the platform showing you all kinds of the cloud services in HPC and AI that can give you a freedom to model what kind of application problem solving in some of the international AI use cases. And finally, I'll keep question answer. So what is an AI? Actually, the theory definition of AI is trying to mimic the human brain. Okay, it's an artificial intelligence and the development of computer systems that are able to perform tasks which human does. That requires human intelligence. And of course, what are these kind of intelligence? Mainly it's coming the visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, translation, which is natural language processing, and many other functions that human is doing on a daily basis. That was of the last 50, perhaps even 60 years definition, which was being coined from a long time back in 1960s and start developing from there and onwards. So why HPC and AI is coming now? Actually, the reason, if you see, AI came from the three major foundations which has been feeding to drive the AI. Number one is the growth of the data. Now data is coming the size of zettabyte, which is huge. Now that set of data, the normal CPU computing is not able to process it. Number two, the new revolution of Internet of Thinking, IoT. There are billions of devices across the universe, which are generating all 24/7 data feeding to the computers. And lastly is, of course, the 5G and 6G, which is coming soon now. That the fast networking and the large number of data and IoT devices, and of course the growth of the computer powers, which is from the CPU to GPU to TPU, and even finally data processing in DPU. That caused AI and machine learning and deep learning to revolutionize in order to bring a lot of business functions in business solving environments. So the major, of course, as I told you, the major computers, what's called developments from the CPU, let's say Intel, for example, AMD, IBM power chip, even ARM now, and lastly also is even NVIDIA, which is making GPU, what's called motherboards and GPU graphics cards. That caused a lot of processing and computerization, which is happening. So computer process has been growing dramatically. Likewise, the data. So now I have a lot of data, a very strong compute. What I need is the brilliant ideas and algorithm which use this data to solve a problem. So better algorithm, perhaps this is the age, this is the new age of computing towards innovative of algorithm, intelligent algorithm. So the algorithm is the backbone which is running on the AI. That gives you a lot of course, tremendous innovation and boosting your investment. Now let's look some of the understanding. What are the applied AI domains? It's knowledge base, computer vision, expert systems, deep learning, natural language processing, machine learning. Let's try to understand in short what is this. A knowledge base is a technology used to store complex structured and unstructured information by computer systems. For example, we're doing every day a Google search. Google is a knowledge environment. Once you type any kind of search, it's immediately doing for your full intelligence and bringing you a meaning of the search. So this is a knowledge. There's a knowledge behind that. Then an expert systems in an artificial intelligence is an expert system, is a computer system emulating decisions making ability of human expert. So what he's doing, he's trying to use the data and experience of that data to drive for your decisions. For example, in banking, when there's people applies for the loan, there's a lot of processing happening at the back end. And then finally decision comes, is that customer enabled for the loan or not? Here the system is also helping a lot. So expert system is there. Number 3 is the computer vision. Computer vision is a science that deals with how computers can gain the high level understanding of digital image and video. So if you feed a computer image, it tell you this is a dog, this is a cat, this is human, this is a picture, some places. So computers with million of information is around it in data. You can drive what is this picture is consist of. Now, when we come to the machine learning, what is the machine learning? It's an application, of course, it's a subset of artificial intelligence that provides system to ability to automatically learn and improve from the experience without programming. Remember, this is very important. When you build any algorithm, solving a problem, a normal linear programming, you put a data, there's a process and there's an output. But machine language, no, it's fed with millions and trillions of data information, and that he learns from this data and he builds his own algorithm. He's tuning this algorithm. You're not touching, you're not recoding, but you're using the very intelligent algorithm to drive you to solving a problem. And we'll give some of the example later on. So what is deep learning? Deep learning is a subset, again, of machine learning. But what it does, it is running on the concept of human brain's neural network. So for example, if you do a handwriting, it can translate your handwriting into a pure text. How he knows how I'm writing? If I write one, the way you write one, or you write your name and I write my name, are different. In the graphics, they are different, but the deep learning is being trained quite well in order to mimic the human's understanding in order to drive it into a real text. Likewise, natural language processing. We talk to computers answering. And here I'll give also an example. When you talk to Alexa, for example, you tell him, please call this number, take my appointment. Virtual nurses, sometimes there's assistance online for the healthcare. You're not talking to doctor, you're talking to nurse, virtual nurse. And it takes you what is your symptom of the problems, and then drives you to the doctor. So these are some of the AI domains. Now, as I said, machine language and which is ML, and deep learning is DL, and AI are not the same. Actually, one is a subset of others. So machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Likewise, deep learning is a subset of machine learning. And usually there's a lot of technologies and libraries and tools around to build these kind of applications. The applied AI technologies from neural network for planning purposes, robotics. I'll give some of the example. I already said about neural network, where you, for example, you do some kind of handwriting, a system will convert text. How I can do it in planning? In planning, for example, I can use the AI in a way that I can use it for purpose of, let's say, studying some kind of statistics of a big data and drive. Well, the forecasting, the weather forecasting. The weather forecasting also is kind of tools which is used. Likewise, also planning is trying to understand whether there is a raining or not. Planning also can be used for feeding the computer with an information that can drive you whether this plan is good or not. Let's say financial aids, for example. Shall I get this financial aid or not? So there's a lot of information can be fed in. Computer will do some kind of analysis based on the experience and give you the drive answer this yes or not. Robotics, we have seen it quite well many times. It's been mainly in the car, car manufacturing. There's a lot of robotics. And machine learning, we said natural language, we already said perception. We said perception, like you feeding the computer with set information, and you already modeling the output. So you're training the computer, you're feeding the information, and then you're expecting that the output should be with a specific pattern, for example. Now, let's say I fed the computer with let's say ton of the pictures, and I want him to drive me, this is an animal, what type of animal is this? Is this a cat, dog, or for example, fish, or it is for example, human? The computer can segregate. There's a perception happening. Knowledge, we said already. The cognitive also, there's a lot of process applications happening based on providing accurate and fact-based environment recommended. Here, where the cognitive environment comes, where the computers can play a major role to drive real intelligence behind your decisions. Now, let's take a very simple theory how machine learning is working. You're feeding the computer with the data. It gets into the computers. There's a lot of information is being captured. Then there is the algorithm. Here the intelligence is happening. So you're feeding the data. You are already modeling what is the output should come. I feed the computer with the weather's information. I want to know whether it's going to rain or not. So I feed the computer with a lot of medical information of your historical, of course, information, whether you will be getting sugar or not, for example. So this experience, which is built from the data, that is the intelligence. Here where the algorithm is being fed, and here the algorithm which is being tuned. So this is the innovative algorithm which is around the AI. This as some example. Now we have a data. So what is the importance of this data? We want to know improving our decision making. I have a lot of data. Shall I take this decision or not? Yes or no? For example, I have a lot of information about the student. Shall I open a new chapter for maybe master in, let's say, in one of the specific in business of information technology, college or not? Based on the information, you can decision yes or no. There's a lot of problems around the business. Okay, in solving that business problems, it's already. I will show you in some of the examples how that some of the business cases have been already solved by AI function. So you need to solve the business problem because of you have a lot of data. An uncovered pattern. It's very important. There are information resides with you, but you are not touching that. Correlating these data together to drive into a real informative is not being touched so far. So AI is giving you a real tools and foundations to drive and touch untouched data, and in order to drive some of the informative information. As I said, how neural network is running. Deep learning is a complete neural network. What it does, it is actually breaking the picture. This most comes on the picture size. It takes any picture and breaks it into small pieces of pixels and tags. Each layer can be 3, 4, or even 1,000 layers in between. So you're feeding it, and it breaks the picture into pixels and tag each pixels in order to drive. Yeah, this is a letter A, this is letter B, this is a picture of cat. So he's trying to do like what humans doing. He's trying to mimic human brains in order to understand what this picture is. So it's a multi-layer perception environment for deep learning. Now let's see some of the AI tools. Now, when I want to start using this technology, I need a proper environment. Really, I need a proper AI. I took a case mainly of the data sets, not all of them. So here's like a data science. Okay, and I want to know. I have a lot of data, and I want to compile these data and try to formulate this data and put a lot of intelligence in algorithm in order to drive it. So to do so, you need 4 layers actually. Number one is you have to have proper data center and very high equipment from the server, storage, network, virtualization, security. This is so the layer 1 is the data center. Second layer is your infrastructure. Third layer is the high computing environment, which is HPC. And lastly is the software, which is reside on top of that. So you need all of this information, large data sets. So here, like some of the examples, if you're trying to do a development tools, I heavily use Jupyter notebooks and Microsoft Visual Studio, for example. Of course, R and Python is a very well language is being used in developing the AI and ML and DL. Likewise, there's a lot of libraries around the development environment, okay, which is giving you for deep learning tools, giving you ML tools, and they are free, and most of them are open source. You can utilize this. And what you need here is the environment is ready, the tools is around. Just bring your data and do analysis. This is, can we achieve this? This is the model we are proposing for academic. You don't need to build all this infrastructure. You have it. You just need to lease it, bring your data, and use the tools around and build it. So while you're building, you have to consider CDIC, which is continuous development, continuous integration. So here, what you do, initially you plan, then you code, you build, you test, then you release, deploy, and operate, monitor, and this cycle goes back and forward in the loop till maturity of your products and your applications get day after day. I don't think any products came on breathe from day one. It is completely mature. We have seen Microsoft Office, Windows, it was XP, then 7, then 2000, then again Windows 10. So every product is getting mature day after day. Likewise, the AI application. So you need continuous development, continuous integration environment. There's a lot of tools around it. Okay, most of them are free, open source. You can use Ansible, you can use Stackable, you can use many of Eclipse like and Jupyter notebooks, and many of them, but you need just select the right one. And most important, before you go and touch the tools and start building, you need to find the problem. Don't go directly and start coding without knowing what you're trying to fix. You have to first focus and target what is the problem, and then you build your applications. Now, what we are offering for academic here, we as a Oman Data Park, we have sophisticated cloud environment, okay, sitting behind the internet, and we are offering you a complete virtual lab and complete microservices environment, Kubernetes and containers. It's just a pick up what exactly tools you want and what kind of environment you want, and scalable, the upscale and downscale. It's cloud anyway. So you can have multiple CPUs, multiple GPUs. Of course, GPU and CPU, what is the difference? CPU is a processing in a sequential order, while GPU is running and processing in parallel. So therefore, it's very fast. GPU and TPU, TensorFlow, and data processing unit running in a parallel environment, complementing the CPU. Therefore, the process which might take a year, and GPU it might take a minute. You know, that's the speed now. So all these environment and these technologies which is required for you to build an application of AI is available from ODP. Now, we also offering you workspace as a service. We have helped many other organizations. Okay, students can get benefits of the virtual labs and desktops environment, and can use a specific scientific kind of problem for solving. I very much recommend students to tie with organization, with bank, oil and gas, telecom, insurance, and try to find what is their problem and how they can use this data and help them. So the student is the mature environment. Perhaps it's I see the only environment is just flexible to take these kind of challenges into a real, fixing this problem into a reality, because the students have a complete freedom in order to customize and build these kind of applications. Aside of that, we also offer for remote employees and even enterprise users from the perspective workspace as a service. I'll also show you what is the workspace as a service. Actually, workspace as a service during the pandemic, we helped many organizations, their staff being locked out. They cannot achieve and reach the offices. So the staffs at the home have the PCs, and we took the complete security layer, and we visualized completely the back office application, front office application while they're sitting at home. So we gave them in two ways, virtualizing the application or virtualizing the video, which is desktop. Both can be achieved. And here is and that's completely secure with two-factor authentication. ODP helped a lot, and that's also a very attractive model for the academic as well. What is cloud services? Now, before we go, what is the cloud service are offered? ODP have 3 data centers in Oman. We have in Muscat, in Qom, Waha, and second is in Wataya, and third one is in Duqm. They are triangles interconnected with the fibers, and customer have a choice where he wants to put his primary workload and secondary workload. And we are servicing more than 600 customers, and even international even customers. So we are growing fast because we are servicing all kind of customers. Now we have different approaches to reach the cloud. This is very important slide. Now, if you see on the left side on-prem, as I said, there are 4 layers for you to reach your application. One is the data center layer. Second is the infrastructure layer. The third one is your platform layer, and lastly is your application and software layer. When you come to, for example, to a cloud, you can come co-location as a service, and here you are reducing this 30% as a cost cut. And that's nothing but you bringing your own equipment, taking facilities of Oman Data Park data center. When you come infrastructure as service, you're not buying any hardware equipments, and here cloud providers providing you complete infrastructure and reduction of the cost of capitalization and operating. There's no capitalization at all, zero. Beside that, the operating is 35 to 40% in reduction. And when you go platform as a service, you're not entitled to purchase any perpetual license of the software, but perhaps you are renting it. And lastly, of course, the software as a service, and here it is just you come in and take the software and use it. Maybe SAP as a service, CRM as a service, e-sign as a service, workspace as a service, many other software, exchanges, mail as a service. So here we are offering you all these layers. What we're telling you, just focus on your applications layer on top. Leave the all below technologies on the cloud provider. And here, as a microservice and container, which is completely, as I told you, AI is completely running on that platform, and it's fully secured. Now we have a couple of product and services. We have something called Nibola, is a brand of Oman Data Park. We are offering virtual data center. We are offering software defined, of course, compute, software defined solution, network, access, storage. All of these technologies are on board. And as I told you, HPC, here is our focus, number 5, and AI. But perhaps the choices are also open for other platforms. Oracle is there, Stack, Red Hat Stack is there, and we have also ACI implementation. Now, our service portfolio is very big. But in short, we have IaaS services, we have platform service, we have software services, we have managed. We are the first managed service provider. We manage on the customers behind and reduce their daily challenges, and that's including the NOC and SOC, okay? And we do also a migration and professional services for cloud transformation. Now, let's focus on the AI use cases. Now, AI use cases, some of them we are using it on daily basis, especially Google search. As I said, it's a very recommended search, intelligent, and it's giving you, while you're typing the text, it is also giving you a kind of intelligence and ideas intelligently what you're trying to search. JP Morgan analyzed the legal document. Imagine there are thousands, perhaps a million of documents of legals, and it's giving you advice of each legal case, whether this is worth going to the court or not, and that was shown very well accepted across the Europe and US. IBM Western is a healthcare AI for medicine. This is very important. So AI software, it takes your all kind of medical test, okay, and then it analyzes your health, your history, and what kind of drugs is being fed into your prescription is going to tell you it's worth or not, or what kind of side effect might cause for you. And that's made on million and million of use cases. Google AI Doctor, which is examining United scans of your identity condition called diabetics, and that's also is available, and people start using Facebook facial recognition. We're using that. Twitter, what kind of message you are feeding, if they're hateful messages or terrorist messages, immediately you get blocked. And virtual assistants, which is Siri and Alexa, that is also it's been already there. Self-driving driving car, Tesla. Imagine Tesla it is using multiple application AI applied technologies, from the GPS and the facial recognition, object visions, many others, DL, ML, in order to drive. Netflix is using ML&DL, which is to personalize your movie. And Gmail is using your spam filtering to know what kind of email is spam or not. Now, some of the also use cases, I was doing research, I found we're doing a lot of scanning of MRI scans, X-ray, ultrasound, CT scan. MRI scan, I found one of them use cases was saying doctor is required 6 hours to diagnose any case. When they build it on AI, that the output of the scanning AI is taking a minute. Imagine from 6 hours to a minute. So you can feed the HPC thousands and thousands of MRI, and it will give you the results in less than a minute. Imagine that kind of speed we are running. There are also kind of digital libraries you can convert, not thousands, perhaps a million of books into a digital and enables OCR, and you can search, and it is giving a lot of e-library. Okay. Another one is the email filtering. So there is, let's say, a help desk where the not maybe 100,000 of emails coming. How you'll know which email is worth to focus or not? So there is an AI sitting behind and reading the text and try correlate like a human, mimics humans understanding there, and try to filter which email is important and then diverse that to the agent. This is very, very attractive and appropriate model for many use cases. Chatbot, we're using chatbot, I mean regularly, especially with Amazon chatbot. It's driving you with your problem till it solves your problem, or it redirects you to an agent. Now, conclusion. The cloud is there, no need for you to build the infrastructure. There are many cloud service providers, Amazon, Google, GCP, IBM, Microsoft Azure. Oman Data Park is also within Oman and within region. We are servicing a lot of customers, as I said, from government, oil and gas, telecom, banking, academic as well, and many other sectors in Oman and outside Oman. Your data is assets, so we protect your data. We're not touching your data. We are never do any big analysis on your data. We are completely regulated by many other bodies in Oman, which is Ministry of Technology, Central Bank of Oman, and when we are completely compliant with all of these regulators, we do a full management on your behind. We offer managed services 24/7 for network and security both. And we are spread across three places in Oman. So your high availability in business continuity disaster recovery is upon the choice. Now, the world is changing. Everything goes into a software as a service. Okay, ODP can play a major role within this transformation. ODP and cloud services mainly can provide you manage and easily to transform your daily problems. Perhaps for academic, as I said, for AI and HPC is one of them. There are many others I highlighted, but can transform many of the organizations, including the academic, in order to facilitate your problems. So we have the real arm and real services and real experience to transform you, especially in the world of HPC and AI. Now, with that said, I hope I gave in very fast manner my short what's called slides and presentations, and I hope it was informative. Should you have any other questions, please do not hesitate and send it to me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Hassan?
Yeah.
Okay, some questions for you. Quick questions. A question from Tawfiq Ahmad Syed. Does Oman Data Park offer internships to students on cloud computing?
I couldn't hear it. Can you repeat it again, please?
Does Oman Data Park offer internships to students on cloud computing?
Internships. Yeah, we do internships. Yeah, we do internships. Yes, we do. But based on like an official request, it's happening. Yes.
Okay, Tawfiq, I hope you got your answer. Next question is from Mark Aguni. What's your opinion or user case regarding the approach of symbolize me in AI?
Symbolize?
Me, yeah.
I didn't understood the question.
Okay, no problem. We go to the next question. from Ahmed Salim Al-Shukeri, how Ministry of Education in Oman can benefit from AI to boost students' performance.
Good. I said very clearly there are multiple options here. Mainly for students specifically, we are offering virtual lab, virtual environment, as I explained in my slides. So they can on spot get connected to the infrastructure, and they use what kind of libraries and problems they want to use specifically for AI and non-AI, any kind of workload. Perhaps they want to do software development, they want data statistics and analysis. So what exactly they're looking, we are offering for all kind of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and HPC workload. Now, here's the choice. What workload you need, you just need to identify it and select it. So this is as simple as this, nothing else. And then you bring your tools, which is already on the internet, okay? Just inherit your libraries, which is you need to build. For example, I want to build VDI, and then I want to inject that with, let's say, Eclipse software, or I want to embed it with, let's say, Python languages, and add on library PyCharm, PyTorch, and then build your applications. But you have to bring your data. Of course, we see there are a lot of sample data across the universe. They can also utilize that one as well.
Okay, another question from Saif. Do you think AI, ML, and DL developers need deep understanding of mathematics tools such as?
No, that's wrong. No, they need to know full understanding how to build the algorithm. Please do not see. I am not in a favor to put mathematics equal algorithm. Not at all. Okay, you need to use your normal kind of thinking to solve a problem. For example, if I want to take a text, any text, and I reverse it, is that mathematics? Not, of course. You can use the basic mathematics, but that's not the case here. Second, you need to know, you have to be very strong in logic. Yes, I do agree with this. You have to be very strong in knowledge, in logic, and you have to know how to use the right tool with the right problem fixing. Otherwise, you will get into a loop.
Okay, dear attendees, for more questions, Oman Data Park has a booth at the exhibition area. Please go there, visit them, ask for more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Awesome.